When I introduced anonymous functions, I mentioned that Matlab stores the function somewhere with some question marks, hence the word anonymous. Let's see what I mean by the somewhere and the question marks. Let's create an anonymous function that's defined in terms of a variable in the workspace, and let's make that variable quite large. For instance, how about A is a 10,000 by 1 vector? And the anonymous function is just the element by element multiplication of the fixed vector A with the argument x, which will also be a 10,000 by 1 vector, and then a summation of all those terms. Let's pick an arbitrary I, say I equal 5,374. Let's make W a vector of zeros with a 1 in that location. F of W should exactly match with the ith element of A, and it does. Let's look at the workspace, and there are all the variables we'd expect to find. The large vector A, the function handle to the anonymous function, I, and the particular vector W that we picked with the zeros and the 1. Look at the number of bytes taken up to store the anonymous function handle, 32. Not very much. Remember that the exact behavior of F depends on the 10,000 by 1 vector A. But it depends on the value of A when it was created. But if we change A, or even clear A, the behavior of F is unaffected. We've seen that. For variables in the expression defining the anonymous function that are not part of the input argument list, it's only their value when the anonymous function is created that matters. So let's clear A and see if the anonymous function still works. It does. It gives the exact same expression. Look at the workspace. From the whos command, it's not possible to understand how much data the anonymous function depends on. Let's clear W and save the workspace. Now I'll quit Matlab. I'll be back as soon as it's restarted. Here we are back in Matlab in the right folder. Let's load. There's the function handle and I, the integer, 5,374. Let's make up the W vector and set its ith entry equal to 1 and try the anonymous function on that vector again. Lo and behold, we get the same number. Somewhere, that 10,000 element array A, which was the data constituting the anonymous function, is stored, even though it's not visible from the whos command. There's some indication that this is happening if you look at the matlab.mat file. Right here, it looks like it only should be 48 bytes. But if we look in my file browser, we'll see that it's quite a bit larger. Let's check. Here's the file browser, and there's the matlab.mat file. Let's right-click and look at its properties. Sure enough, 78,000 bytes. It's a very large file, comparable to the amount of fixed data that's embedded in that anonymous function, and not the same as what shows up in the whos command, where it lists 48 bytes. So somewhere, Matlab stores all the data that makes up an anonymous function. It's not in the handle, it's stored somewhere else, and it's really not part of the workspace.